Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I haven't been out for many vlogs lately. There is a reason for that. Yeah. So basically what I want to do is actually it sounds kind of cheesy, but actually give back a little bit. And what I want to do is actually start right at the very beginning and work on a couple of things. The first thing I want to talk about is this, and that is light. And photography is all about light. You might have heard on a few of my vlogs saying it's good light, bad light. But in basic terms, what it's actually about is your exposure. In light, basically how strong it is, basically means what kind of settings you're going to use. Only 3 things you need to learn on a camera. That's it. If you learn these 3 things, you will be able to take a picture of anything you need at all. Really straightforward. To create exposure, you basically need to know about the exposure triangle. That exposure triangle is basically made up of ISO, aperture, or your f-stop, and then your shutter speed. Very straightforward. How big or small kind of these things are depends on each other. The first thing I want to talk about is aperture. And what your aperture does is controls the amount of light going in and out the lens. This is a manual lens, and I'm changing the aperture on this. Those blades obviously changing to let the amount of light in. So not only don't worry, this isn't my camera, this is just an old film camera I have, more just for show. So that aperture, what it does is actually changes your f-stop. Won't go into any technical details about it, but basically your f-stop is a series of numbers from low, kind of f1.4, f1.8, f2.8 for instance. That's it at its widest point. Going right the way through, it doesn't actually go like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it actually goes in weird numbers, but again, we're not getting into the technicalities of that because we'll be here all day. It goes right the way through to things like f22, f32, and that'll be very tiny, letting a tiny amount of light in. You might have heard in my couple of videos, I generally shoot about f8, f9, f11, something like that, because what your aperture does, it actually controls what's in focus as well, or basically what we call your depth of field. And let me show you how that one works, basically with this setup. Right, so basically all we've got is my camera set up on a tripod. I've got a subject. At the moment, my camera is set to f4, which is basically the lowest this lens itself won't go. It's focused on the subject here, which in this case it's the bowl of fruit. So if I take a single image, dead easy. We'll be focused on there, background will be blurred. All I'm going to do now, keep everything else on automatic, then I'm just going to change my aperture all the way to the other side. On this lens it's f22. If you put these images side by side, we can see the difference in them. One, the subject is sharp, the background is blurred. The other, everything is sharp. But what does this mean in terms of real life? If you can control the aperture, if you know how to control the aperture, and you know how to control the depth of field, not only do you control the amount of light entering your camera, you also have the creativity to basically focus only on your subject. What if you're a wildlife photographer, for instance? You want that subject to pop. You want people to look directly at that subject, that image you've taken of that animal or whatever it may be. So what you do, you open the lens a little bit, use these kind of lower apertures, anything between kind of f4, f5, something like that. You focus just on that animal. You know the front of the image is going to be blurred, the back of the image is going to be blurred, and then your subject is going to be in focus. Absolutely perfect. On the other side of it, if you're a portrait photographer, exactly the same principle. You want that model to be in focus. You don't want anything else to be in focus, you want people just to look at that model. So that, in a nutshell, is your aperture. I know it's a very basic view of how it works. It controls your depth of field, and it also controls the amount of light entering your camera. So thank you for watching this part of the tutorial. The next one is ISO, a little bit shorter. It's a very straightforward topic to cover, but you will see how it relates back to your aperture. Then obviously the third and final part, how it relates to the shutter speed as well. So thank you for watching the first episode of my basic tutorial series. It is much appreciated. Any comments, likes, anything you think you want to go over, obviously I can pick it up in the next video. Like I said, next one it will be on ISO, slightly shorter. But if you do want to watch it, that will be out soon. Again, subscribe. And if you like this video, click like. And feel free to leave me a comment. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching this episode of basically image, just to look at that subject of that over. A couple of examples I'll show you of basically this in a couple of. If you're a product, for instance, product photographer, or what if you're a product photographer, for instance, you are trying to sell an image that is. What if you're a product photographer, for instance? So